Here we go. Here we go. Victory Formation Podcast. I'm Prescott. That's Eddie. Eddie, say what's up to the people.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the podcast. We missed you. Be slow week again, but it's getting close. Getting close to the. We got combine next week. We got these. We got the draft coming up. We got a bunch of just exciting things to talk about today. So let's get down to it.
We're going to break down what the combine means, why it's so important, why people should care about the combine, what it means to the Cowboys. Even give you some people who benefited from the combine and didn't benefit from the combine.
Sure.
Then we'll go into some Cowboy news, talk about what's going on recently. We had Aubrey going crazy. I think he's going to kill somebody soon. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But what you got going on? What's around the NFL?
We got Stephen Jones talking Stephen Jones-like in awkward, just confusing sentences, making people
You're like, what?
post clickbait and shit. But yeah, we'll talk about that. But NFL news this week, really, I mean, the only thing really happening is the combine. I mean, there is possible cuts that a lot of teams are kind of just, or writers are posting what they think these teams are gonna.
What they think is gonna happen.
Only a few have really happened. I mean, we did let Logan Wilson go, but possible cuts are gonna. I mean, there's some pretty big names out there this year, and I don't know. Did you have a list of those of any? Possible?
Not of the people who like possible cuts.
I think that'll be something that I'll get into probably next week. Is that I'll come up with like a bigger list of the potential people that might be cut. I mean, one of the bigger ones is like Kirk Cousins is being basically shopped around for a trade right now. I mean, that's what is strange at this point, right? These teams are saying we might let these guys go, but if you want to trade for them right now, we'll trade for them. Why would you do that? I mean, it's like telling your mom, hey, I want that game, but in a week it's going to be free. Your mom would be like, hey, go sit back down. We'll come back next week.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, I mean, because ESPN has a article about one cut per team, like a big name that could be cut. But I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, for example, New York Jets, their person is Breece Hall. But the news just came out today that they're going to tag him. So that's why it's like it's kind of hard to guess on this stuff because like they said, man, they're gonna put a tag on him if they can't work out a deal. So he already put the kibosh on that. So this article's already, old. But I mean, they got us right when they put Sam Williams down. So some of them are gonna be right. So a lot of them are gonna be off. But it's just the guessing. Slow time of the year, like, man, let's just guess what's gonna happen.
It's slow, and you're trying to get as many people to look at your article as much as possible. So, I mean, the headlines are going to be crazy. Like, I saw one today that was talking about the Cowboys and was saying something about how we're not focusing on re-signing. What's the name? Our D end. Who's that kid? The older guy.
Oh, Clowney.
Yeah, Clowney. So we know that Steven had said, he's going to be a priority. Even in the season, when the season was still going, he said that. So we know it's going to be a priority. But today, somebody decides to throw up an article that says they're not showing the decisiveness to be able to re-sign him right away. It was just clickbait right away.
It is.
You have
this is
no
the beauty
idea
of sports.
if he's going to be re-signed or
not. Sports and the weather are similar in that your job is to literally guess, and you don't have to have a high percentage of correctness to still come back to work the next day or to get another contract. Like, just think of Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper tries to do, like, he was one of the first ones that did let me do a mock draft. Then everybody started doing it, but people will put out a 7-round mock draft and it'll be 99% wrong, and he still gets paid millions of dollars to come back next year. So it's one of those weird things.
You think about it, it's like if your percentage of being successful at your job was as close to what they do, what are they right? Like maybe 4 or 5% of the time that they guess. Could you imagine if you went to work and you're like,
At my job, I can't afford to be wrong. I can't afford to be wrong at all. Like I can't ever like if I'm wrong, yeah, please come into this office. Let's talk for a minute. And and that's one time. Like these guys are maybe right one time and they get paid millions of dollars. So like it's a dream job. Like no accountability. I always wanted to start a channel where I was smart enough to follow all the stuff that these big name pundits say, like the Stephen A. Smiths when they say about this guy, the Skip Bell when they say about, and then at the end of the season, bring up exactly how wrong Dan O was wrong this season, and then make a podcast about it. I just don't have the time to do it, but I really want to do it, and I want to name it "You Don't Know Ball." I keep thinking about man, what's that guy? Shane Gillis. I always want to name it "You Don't Know Ball" and just go in on how wrong they are, but they're confidently wrong.
Yeah,
I wish I had time to do it.
Absolutely.
So when I win the lottery, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. Well, I'll back you on it. I'll back you on that.
Yeah. Some statisticians.
Other than that, I mean, we do have the combine. We gave the dates out. It did start yesterday. The combine did officially start yesterday and is going through March 3rd. Right? The on-field action doesn't start until Thursday on the 6th or 26th. So right now it's basically, I believe, like team meetings, individual meetings.
Yeah. It's just like training camp. Whenever they go out there, the first day is always just a press conference. Welcome to the team, and then they don't start until the next day or 2 days later. But
these
starved for stuff.
Personal interviews, though, are pretty important though to the teams, right? Because it does kind of give them, and even though some of them are a little bit strange, like they ask some strange ass questions, but.
Yeah, is your mom a hooker?
Yeah,
some, crazy stuff like that.
Are you still attracted to males? And you're like, what?
And apparently it can hurt you because if you remember last year, Shedeur Sanders apparently bombed his interviews at the combine, and that's why he dropped so low. So apparently it matters still.
The thing about that was from what we heard, and that's all it is that we've heard stuff. But we heard, I mean, when players come in, they start demanding, like, I'm not going to interview with this team and I'm not going to interview with this team. You don't have that. You're not in that place to be able to do that yet.
Yeah, unless you're like a top 3 guaranteed player.
Your dad, your dad was the first person to tell anybody and everybody where he was going to go, where he was going to play.
I'll never forget that story. In case y'all don't know, when he came in, I think it was the Giants asked him a question, and he looked them dead in the eye and said, "What number are you drafting?" And they said like 5 or 6. Like, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to last that long." So he didn't answer any questions. It was hilarious.
I remember he had Steinbrenner had already given him a contract with the Yankees.
Yeah, for the Yankees. Yeah,
and like so, you walk into that job interview with a job in your back pocket. You're not gonna.
Man, it's hard.
How easy is that job interview gonna be? Right,
cocky 19, 20-year-old trying to talk to him. You're like, man, I don't gotta listen to this. But yeah,
but we did
anyway,
we did want to talk a little bit about like what the combine can do and what it can't do for you, because I mean it is important. It's not just a workout and we reshuffling the rankings of players. It really does give teams a chance to sit with a player one-on-one and learn what that person knows. You can see that the person working physically, how he takes directions. Some of those. That's what some of those coaches are doing, right? It's not just a drill. But
hold on. Before we get into it, let me give a quick rundown of what the combine is before you go into details for this.
Where is the combine?
So it's. You know what? I don't know where it's at. It used to be in Indianapolis all the time.
It is. It's there. So.
Okay. Because it used to be there every year. But anyway, so the combine started in 1982. That's a year after I was born. So it's been around for 40-something years. Back then, it was just like a medical thing. It wasn't all those different drills. Like they brought players in to be medically tested. And the first combine had 163 players. Only 16 teams were involved. Those were the
players had described the old combine as being like a meat market, like you're just standing up there, no
basically
shirt
like
on,
the cattle they do, like
you.
They bring them in and all of that. And so in 2009, it moved to Lucas Oil Stadium, and then that's when it started becoming more of a event to where ESPN, they try to monetize everything. So that's when they'll kind of like the draft. I mean, the draft used to be only followed by super NFL nerds because it used to be a long draft. Like now
it was
it's
like
17
days.
rounds.
Bro. It was crazy.
It used to have like 20-something rounds, and like coaches would leave, and you'd be like the assistant equipment manager would be in there making picks for you.
Yeah, and if they drafted somebody, they had to pull out some list and be like, come out with this ruler and be like, did he get drafted already? Or kind of crazy.
Yeah, and so that's what it was. But then lately, since in like the late 2000s, well, mid 2000s was when it turned into what it is now, where people really pay attention to the 40. They really pay attention to how much you bench press. They really look at the quarterback as he hitting his routes. And so you can keep going, and then we'll get into some people later who benefited from the combine who shouldn't have, and people who didn't benefit but ended up being superstars anyway. So you can go ahead.
You know what's crazy about the combine and what's technology has done for it, and training with these with real individual personal trainers and things like that. They've become like the combine has become something that players train for. So like a couple months before, in between the end of the season and the combine, these players are just working out as hard as they possibly can to get the numbers that they need in the combine, right? It's not like you're back in like probably the 85, 86. Think about it. Like players
they have second jobs.
They probably ended their college career, and then they waited out. They didn't have a personal trainer that was saying, okay, you're going to run the 40, 5 hours a day for the next 11 weeks, and we're going to tweak everything, and we're going to do everything down to shaving ounces off of your cleats and just little things like that, just to give you just that much of a advantage over the next player. That's what the combine has really changed the game into. And so players do come in and what they call them workout warriors, when they come out and they're just ready for the combine, but they haven't done anything in the NFL or in college yet.
Off the bus guys.
Yep.
Like, look at that guy. He looks like a football player.
Make sure all the tall guys get off the bus first. That was in basketball. That was my coaches. All the centers and the forwards got off first.
It's insane.
But yeah, so, tell me a little bit about names that have actually benefited from combine, and that would be a player that makes his way through college and then makes a huge name for himself in the combine.
Yeah, like so these are players who, after they graduated, they were good players. They had a good draft stock, but after the combine,
one thing, to be eligible for the combine too, you can't be a sophomore, a junior. You have to be a senior, right, to be eligible for the combine?
No. Anybody can be eligible for the combine. I don't think you have to be a senior. Hold on, let me check.
I thought that was one of the restrictions back in the day. I could be way off. Could be a restriction from back in the day.
I don't think so, because Anthony Richardson was in the draft and he was only there for like 2 years. But no, it's not restricted to seniors. Invitations are extended to college seniors with exhausted eligibility, underclassmen, juniors who have formally declared for the NFL draft, and in rare cases, players with special eligibility, such as those from other football leagues who graduated early.
If they have to get a special require, so they are all the older players. You're not going to see any real young players in there that are.
Yeah, you won't. Yeah, but they have to be entering the draft. Like, and the only people who didn't come from college, like somebody that coming from the USFL, something like that, they can get a waiver. So like how we were saying, the combine can really a lot of times it can really make or break your draft stock, which is the difference between being a first round draft pick and getting that 5th year guarantee, or being a 3rd round pick or 4th round pick like Dak and only getting a contract for $1.2 million for the whole 4 years. And so, like, for instance, the original guy who skyrocketed up boards, his name was Mike Mamula. This is in 1995. He was one of the first people who utilized like special, like how he was saying earlier, once the season was done, I mean, you might just go and lift weights, or you might do a little running, a little CrossFit. But this guy used special training. He's one of the first people that used special training to look good at the combine, and he ended up getting picked 7th overall when he was like a mid-round, like a 3rd or 4th round starting off, but like after the season. And by the time the draft came around, he got drafted 7th overall. So those are the type of people. That was one of the early people that did it.
Football nerds remember him from he was a linebacker from Boston College, got drafted by the Eagles. Yeah. He was good. Yep.
And so recently, the people who it has benefited, who we know, is like Vernon Davis in 2006. He was already a freak of nature, but after he put up like mind-blowing numbers for someone his size, he ended up being a top 6 pick. And so like he made himself millions of dollars off of the combine.
That's crazy.
I don't know if y'all remember Vernon Davis, but he was a freak of nature. They didn't believe a human 49ers should be that big and run that fast and catch the ball. Another guy you might remember, Dontari Poe, the defensive tackle. He was 346 pounds. He ended up running a 4.9, which was like, that's unfathomable.
That's so crazy.
He moved into the 1st round pick once they saw that, because he was already strong. He was already big, couldn't move, but to run a 4.9 at 346 pounds, that's like, you see that, you
can't
think
move
it's
a house
magic.
that fast. That's crazy.
Hey, and we have a guy that was on that. You remember the guy, Byron Jones, Stone Hands?
Yep.
So he set a world record.
Oh, yeah, the long jump, right?
Yeah, but it's called the broad jump.
Broad jump.
12 feet, like 3 inches.
That's
and so
insane. I mean, he was jumping,
standing still. He jumped that line.
He jumped over 2 people, basically, laying down on the ground. Insane.
And that proved him to be like an athletic freak of nature, and we ended up taking him in the 1st round when he wasn't slotted to be 1st round cornerback when the season started. But we needed a cornerback, and we picked him because of that. Made himself millions of dollars. And the guy we just mentioned, Anthony Richardson.
Ooh,
he came in.
This is the guy that I'm thinking about 100%. That
man, he did it was this one pass he did where he's a right-hand quarterback. He was running left and did a dime like 70 yards downfield. Running left, just flicked his wrist 70 yards downfield. That propelled him to whatever he went, like 4th overall. Like, it was crazy.
There's the oohs and ahs from the crowd when that happened.
Yeah.
It right then it just tells the scouts in there, oh my goodness, we need to bring this kid in. Who is this kid? Everybody's flipping through pages right off that bat.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can remember one of those, I think, oh my God, who was his name? It was Derek Carr's brother. What was his name? The guy that played for the Titans.
I know you're talking about.
Either way,
I can't remember now.
He played for Fresno State, and a smaller school quarterback goes into the combine.
David Carr.
And like he elevated his draft stock so much through the combine because of the strength of his arm and what he was showing the scouts through the combine that he didn't show through the game. That I think he was picked really high too. So combine.
So Anthony Richardson turned that into a 4-year, $33.99. So basically $34 million fully guaranteed rookie contract. That's a lot of money considering if he would have went in the 3rd round, nobody would have been surprised because he was so green. He only had like 1 full year, but he was like Cam Newton. Like when people saw him, they saw Cam Newton. Absolutely. But after that combine, it was like, yep, he's definitely going 1st round, and they really went crazy and picked him 4th overall, which gave him crazy money. But anyway,
it was just the strength of his
the type
arm.
of person.
It doesn't show. It doesn't show how well you can understand plays or it doesn't show your heart. It just shows like how fast you can run and how far you can throw, basically.
Yep. It's and a punt some of it is, to me, is real dumb because like they do the 40-yard dash when that does not matter for a defensive tackle or a defensive end. Yeah, like that does not matter. Nobody ever runs a 40 in a straight line. Yeah, like but for a nickel cornerback, that's good. For a cornerback, that's good. A wide receiver, that's really good. Same thing with the shuttle. For some positions, like for a quarterback, who cares if you can run a shuttle? You just need to be able to slide. But for a nickel cornerback, that's very important because you got to switch directions really quick, and that shows your hip movement. So, that's really good. But like, for instance, Chris Johnson was another one of those. When he came out, he was not a big name, but he tied the record back then. It was 4.24 when he did it, and they was like, "What the heck?" So he ended up going to the Titans in the first round.
That was Dion's record, wasn't it, for a while? It was Dion's record
for a while.
Well,
so other names.
That was right around
the other name I had was. I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was right around the time where remember the when Dion had that NFL Network commercial where he was somebody else because he wanted to run the 40.
Yeah.
I forgot what his name was. I thought it was funny. He didn't want anybody to break his
record. The last person on that list is Javon Curse, freak.
The freak.
Yeah. Also, John Ross is on the list. The guy from the Bengals. He actually broke the record.
He ran like a 4.21 40. He was an Olympic sprinter that just got an NFL contract that didn't really play very much at all.
Insane. It was crazy. So and so on the flip side, there are people who show up to the combine and they quote unquote flunk it. Like they, you know who's the poster boy of being a combine warrior, but it became a bust? Vernon Golston. I don't know if you remember him.
Oh,
played for the Jets.
How about our boy? How about the defensive lineman from Michigan that we drafted?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a workout warrior. That was a golden example of what.
Yeah, but Vernon Golston is the gold standard when it comes to look so good at the combine. He ended up being drafted and then Aaron Mabin, the guy from Penn State, was another guy that did great at the combine, and they ended up going in the top 5 and literally didn't have a single good year in their whole career, but made millions of dollars.
What about your boy Jamarcus Russell? I mean, it wasn't just the combine; it was the personal workouts and everything he was doing.
He actually played pretty good at LSU. Yeah,
it was
LSU because I'm telling you, I went to LSU, so I followed him. He was really, really good.
It had to have been like a what's the other quarterback from the Johnny Manziel? It had to have been that where he was just going off of pure talent, not going to classes, not doing anything,
no studying.
Then when you get to the NFL,
trying to get better,
you're like, holy shit, everybody's this is good. A job, and I gotta learn all this stuff and remember all this stuff.
Yeah. So on the flip side, there are players who failed the combine. Like when they showed up at the combine, they expected them to be good and they suck, but they still end up having good careers. So we have names like Jarvis Landry, Vontez Burfict, Calais Campbell, Navarro Bowman, Cooper Kupp's on here. Anquan Boldin, I still remember him. They said he was super slow. It was no way he would be a good wide receiver. I still remember him. It was weird
though because he was a quarterback at Florida State, and then his senior year they put him in at receiver a little bit, but he was still a quarterback. And then he came to the NFL and he was a receiver. So it's weird when they put quarterbacks with receivers because they don't think of their talent.
Back then, he was projected to be a first-round pick, and then he ran a 4.7 as a wide receiver. So think about that. Donterry Poe at 346 pounds ran a 4.9. Anquan Boldin as a wide receiver ran a 4.7, and they were like, forget that. He dropped all the way to 54th overall. He was like a first-round lock before that happened.
That rookie year, he tore up the league. I mean, it was
in
ridiculous.
his first game,
200 yards.
He caught 10 passes for 217 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like that's how mad he was. He's like, forget those guys.
He went. He's like one of those players that had like all 53 guys that got drafted before him. It's all like written in his locker and shit.
He can call off all the wide receivers by memory. Terrell Suggs was another one, and then the poster boy for this. It's kind of misleading. Is Tom Brady because he did have a bad combine. He ran a 5.2 combine.
We've all seen that picture of Brady without his shirt on, looking like he's like a 14-year-old kid. That was the combine picture. That's what they looked at. They're like, he doesn't have any muscle on his body.
No muscle definition. Like the first sack he takes, he's gonna die. And it's like he just didn't test poor. It was all-time bad numbers. He had a 723 cone. 5.2. Donterry Poe at 346 ran a 4.9. Brady ran a 5.2. It was so bad. He dropped all the way to the 6th round, and of course, we all know what happened.
I mean, think about these last couple of years where these players. I mean, we know that humans are just getting faster, stronger, bigger. It's because
makes no sense,
right? Science is happening. Drugs are getting better. Training is getting a lot better. Weights are getting a lot better. We're smarter about what we eat and what we put in our bodies and stuff. But if you think about in the last couple of years, they've actually come to like breaking these speed records over and over and over again. Like every single year, they're going to be faster and faster. Well, the last guy, the receiver from Texas that broke, he went to the Chiefs, and I mean, what is he doing?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Yeah, and I mean, and he's just okay. He's not like he's not a first round wide receiver. Like for instance,
and
you draft this guy in the first round, you're getting like Justin Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb, but he's more like in the Jalen Reagor tier.
I think we all fall into the trap of being in love with the 40. I mean, that's
like
Al
it
Davis.
means guaranteed success.
Yeah. That was all Al Davis. Like he just wanted speed, speed, speed. I don't care if these guys are good, if they can catch. They just want speed. And you know, we
that's the reason why we have CeeDee Lamb. That's the reason why we have CeeDee Lamb. He picked Henry Ruggs from Alabama over Lamb because Henry Ruggs was ridiculously fast. He ran a 4.3, I believe, and so they drafted him, and CeeDee Lamb fell into our lap.
He drives really fast too, I heard.
So thank you, Al Davis.
Exactly. Thank you very much. But
right.
that comes with a little bit of a change of the guard now. So a lot of players now they won't work out at the combine. So like a quarterback will come in and he won't throw and he won't run the 40. He might do.
But won't that hurt their stock though?
What it used to hurt them, but nowadays where these guys are waiting for the personal workouts because, and we talked about it before, one of the main reasons why when you come to the combine, you're throwing the ball to, if you're a quarterback, you're throwing the ball to receivers that are at the combine too, trying to get a job. You met them, maybe you met a couple times, but you don't have that rhythm. When you go to your personal workout, you're throwing the guys that you've been probably working out with for the last 2 or 3 years. You know them like the back of your hand. You don't have to think they're going to be somewhere. You know where they're going to be. So a lot of players they won't work out at the combine. They definitely won't run at the combine because they want to push it out as far as they can because they want to work out. Instead of 7 weeks of preparation, you now have 11 weeks of preparation to run that 40. I mean, if you go to the 40, you run a 4.740. What the heck? Now your draft stock dropped way down.
You cost yourself $1 million. Yeah, you cost yourself.
Now you gotta look at all your family and be like, you guys gotta stay working. You guys, I'm sorry.
Yeah, everybody gets Kias instead of Hondas, but yeah. So it's like it's one of those things where if you're a top player, like the guy from Indiana, the quarterback, does you no good. Like you only can hurt yourself because you're already slated to go number 1. You only can hurt yourself going to the combine unless you have the perfect combine, which is almost impossibility to have. You're only going to hurt yourself. So put yourself in a position where you have more control over the situation. Like you said, instead of throwing to a wide receiver from Appalachian State that's trying to get drafted, now you're throwing to your actual wide receivers that you played with for the last 2 years or whatever, that you know when he runs the 12-yard out, he likes to cut it short of the yard. Boom. So you still hit him and you look perfect. And your workout looks great.
And the pressure is off, right? I mean, you're at home. You're amongst your fans that are rooting for you. Everybody wants you to do well. At the combine, there might be a handful of people that want you to do well. Everybody else is like, fuck this guy, I want to do better than him.
Yep. And so that's why it is. So if you're because a lot of time with the draft, what a lot of people don't realize is agents are really good at predicting where you'll go. So like if you're a player, they can look at you and be like, yeah, you're going in the first round, or you know what, you're probably going around round 4 through 6. Every once in a while they're off. Like I said, those guys that moved to the board because of the combine, they had them slated at a certain point, but then they boosted up the draft boards. There are a few outliers. For the most part, agents know where their client is going. So they tell you, it would benefit you a lot to go to the combine and try to move up from the 5th round to the 3rd round, or the 3rd round to the 2nd round. So yeah, so that benefits those players to go to the combine because they can earn millions of dollars. Now, sometimes it actually still works bad in their favor, where they were projected to go in the 3rd or 4th round and they end up being undrafted free agents because they still suck at the combine. Because it's like some people, like the most famous one I remember is not an NFL player, it's an NBA player, Kevin Garnett. He came out, he was one of those high school to NBA players. When they brought him in, like in high school, he was lights out, dominant, killing everybody. But when they started putting him through drills for like what's the equivalent of the NBA combine, he was terrible, fumbling the ball, couldn't do it. He just looked terrible. But then when they put him in the game, completely destroyed everybody. Yeah, so some people are like that.
If I remember Durant specifically, the thing that I remember about Durant's like NBA combine was they put 135 on the bar and he couldn't do it. And then they took that off and they put 25s on and he still could barely do it. That was like, whoa, that's because
and if Greg Oden was a thing, he still would have went. I'm like, well, he went 2nd overall. Greg Oden went 1st, which he should have, but he would have went 1st overall. Like if he would have shown stronger, he probably would have went 1st overall. So it didn't hurt him because the NBA is more realistic about what this person can do, because like strength isn't as important in the NBA as it is in the NFL. And so he still ended up going in the right spot. But yeah, you're right. But and then there are some players who just kind of like people in school. Some people can take tests real well, but they can't apply it in real life. And then some people suck at tests, but they can do the actual job, or they can actually do what needs to be done very well.
That's a great example. Great example. I like that. So
what's up?
I mean, that's the combine in a nutshell. I think when we talk next week, we'll have a little bit more info about actually the results of what's happened, because it starts on Thursday and it goes position by position. It's really nice. If you want to check it out, NFL Network really does a great job throughout the day of showing not only the drills, but interviews of players and coaches and scouts and everything, and they will focus on like specific teams too. So there'll be a little section where they're talking to the Dallas scouts about who they've seen and what they're looking for, seeing. So keep your eyes out for that.
And one thing that goes hand in hand with the combine that the Cowboys stick by are what's called the local visits. So team visits. So after the combine, the team has players that can come, and then you can get more players if you choose players that are actually from your city. So like for the Dallas Cowboys, if they pick players like from SMU or within a certain, like Baylor, that's in a certain mile radius of the Cowboy Stadium, because you only get like 20, I can't remember the exact number, but you only get like 20 visits. But if you pick people that are from your area, you can get 30 visits. So you get like a free look at 10 extra players if you choose players around. And the Cowboys always seem to pick somebody. It's very rare that they pick somebody who didn't come in for a visit. So that's a good indicator of how our draft is going to.
A lot of our UDFAs come from local, because
exactly. Exactly.
Because you work them out and then you don't tell anybody about them. You'd be like, you know what, you go home, pretend like you're sick, and we're going to pick you up.
Plus, some players, some coaches, GMs, they look for other things. Like some people think running the 40 is big, like Al Davis. He ran the 40, signed him up. But some people are like, no, let's see how he comes out of his squaring. Let's see how he comes out of his out. Let's see how he chops his feet at the top of his route before he does the turn, like little stuff like that. So they can be like, this guy was good in college, but now he's in here. His route running is terrible and sloppy. He was just a better athlete than everybody else, so he looked good.
The older scouts, they all have magic, right? They all have those little things like, how good looking was his girlfriend, or
did the players come to his birthday party? Yeah,
how big is his ass? And that's a legit thing that scouts would be looking at, like the shelf and the just random things that these guys think that they can kind of give them advantage. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Extra edge.
it's all a guess. We're all guessing on these 20-year-old kids to become men and do a job and continue to love what they're doing, right? And be the best at what they're doing. That's really what that
Because you
scouting
got to
job
have
is.
certain assumptions. You got to assume that this player is a hard worker. You got to assume this player wants to get better. You got to assume this player is going to watch game tape. Like those are the things you assume, and then when you come to the combine, you're looking to see if the physical traits match up to somebody who has a drive to be better. Like a Tom Brady, he's maniacal about getting better. He will go and do the same pass 100 times until he feels he's mastered it, as opposed to a Jamarcus Russell. He might throw it one time, like, oh, that's enough. Let's go to the club tonight. And so it's like you might not be able to see that. You can fake that for one day. So sometimes you can. So players are really good at coming in, and everybody knows that. You see that friend who you know is a sleazeball when he gets in front of that teacher or that girl. You're like, who is this dude? Like, look at him talking all smooth. Like that's not him at all. And that's how. And it happens in the NFL, in professional sports. People get tricked.
Yep. Absolutely.
So that's what you got to. So it's a tough job, and that's why I don't really get angry at scouts, and that's why they get to be wrong. Like a lot of people say Will McClay hasn't really hit. Like he didn't hit on the guy from Michigan. He didn't hit on Schoonmaker. He missed on a couple players, but that's understandable. It's the percentage of hits that you make, and he has a far higher hit rate than, like, say, the Cincinnati Bengals or say the Carolina Panthers. They don't draft as well as we do. So we can excuse a few misses here and there.
And you also have to think, most teams value players differently. Like, we might have a rule where we don't pick somebody because of this, where another team is going to say, oh, that's what we're looking for. I mean, it's all random. It's like going to people's houses for dinner. Everybody's situation is different. You're like, you guys all sit at the table together and pray together, and you go to another, and you guys all sitting around the TV while eating dinner. It's all everything's different.
To me, a perfect example of that is applying to the Cowboys. Is a lot of people have been asking for Kyle Pitts for years. They wanted McCarthy to trade for him. They want Shoddy to trade for him. What a lot of people don't realize is he is not the type of tight end McCarthy or Shoddy wants. They like tight ends who can catch and who can block. Kyle Pitts is a superb pass catching. He's like a wide receiver that just is tall, so they put him at tight end.
Yeah.
He's not a great blocker, so he wouldn't fit what Schottenheimer or what McCarthy was doing. So even though he was great, and a lot of players I think he would do good in the pass catching option, they wouldn't be able to use him how they want in an offense because he can't block like they need him to. So that's what it is. People value different stuff.
Absolutely. Well,
so keep that in mind whenever you see a big name that drops. It's like, wait, we need a linebacker. He's a great linebacker. Let's get him. No, we need a thumper. He's not a thumper. He is a coverage linebacker that can shut down the running backs, but we don't need that particular thing. I'm not saying that that's what we need, but I'm saying that's what how teams think whenever they like, how does he fit our system?
It's like when you go to the grocery store with your mom. I mean, you're not going to just go grab everything at the grocery store because it looks good. You're only going to get what you guys need at home to, most of the time.
Because
that's how most
organic bananas sound good until you see how much more organic bananas cost over regular bananas. Then your mom's like, yeah, put that back. Get those regular bananas right there.
Exactly.
But anyway.
So let's get into some Cowboy stuff. Cowboys stuff, because there's not that much, but
it's not. Biggest thing right now is Butter, man. Automatic Aubrey. What's going on with him?
Yeah, you could talk about that. I mean, there's a couple guys that are Aubrey is a priority, a free agent priority of us, and they are talking it since the combine did start. This is usually when teams start negotiating, because
negotiating with their high priority. Yeah,
agents are there repping their new players, but so they'll talk to the reps about players that, and I guess what's happened. Our boy Calvin Watkins has reported that we have offered Aubrey and his camp. We have an offer on the table right now. I think it's for $7.5 million a year. I don't know how long or how many years it is, but it just said 7.5. But sounds to me like he's asking, either him or his agent is saying something more. What is the number?
So the highest paid kicker right now is Harrison Butker. He makes $6.4 million a year. They offered him, from what I have heard, like we said, maybe heard it from Calvin, so we don't know how true this is, but I don't see why someone would lie about this. Apparently they've offered him $7.5 million a year, which is $1.1 million per year more than the highest kicker, which I value him as the best kicker in the league. I think some of them are close to him, but I think he's the best kicker. And so they're paying him as the best kicker more, but apparently he's asking for like around 10 million. So what I'm thinking is, I think that he knows that the shelf life of kickers isn't long. Like, kickers don't get 7. We did sign Dan Bailey for 7 years. He only played like 2 or 3 years before they had to cut him. But kickers don't get long contracts. They usually get 2 to 3 year contracts now, because when a kicker falls off, it's swift. It's swift, and you never know it. They don't get progressively worse. It's just one day they're a great kicker, and then the next day they're like just missing normal kicks that they used to make. So that's something that you have to take into consideration when you're trying to sign a kicker. So I can see where they want to, like, making him paying him as the highest kicker in the league is a good move. But for him asking 10 million, I don't know if that's true. If it is, I hope he comes down from that, because I don't think they should pay him 10 million for like 3 years. Maybe they should give him 10 million the first year, then like 7 million the second year, something like that. I don't know, but I don't know how it works.
From what, like, if you put the context clues together, I mean, Bucker makes what he makes because it was just his time to get paid. As we know, these contracts are cyclical. The NFL cap raises every year because salaries increase. We know, if we think about it, like in quarterback salaries, I mean, people throwing up their hands saying, "No way is this guy making $30 million a year," and that was only like 4 years ago.
Exactly.
And now quarterbacks are making 40, 50,
now that's a bargain. $60 million a year. We wish they were making 30 million a year.
Receivers, I mean, just a couple years ago, $20 million a year got you traded to the Browns from the Cowboys. I mean, that's what Amari wanted. We said, hell no. Now players are about to start receiving $38-40 million a year.
I would gladly play George Pickens $31 million a year.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying, is like this tag that that's another piece of our news, is that we did officially go ahead and say that we were going to tag him. We haven't done it officially yet, but I mean, that tag is $28 million. That's like $10 million less than what he's going to get paid. And then we get a whole nother year to be able to see if he's going to be a good player, or if last year was just a fluke. So, I mean, it's hit or miss. Is he going to play? His agent has never had a player play on the tags. It could be a fact that, that's going to be an issue where he's going to say, I'm just not going to play then.
Plus, one more caveat with Aubrey before people lose their mind, like, how could he turn down $7.5 million? We also don't know the particulars about the salary. All we've heard is he was offered 7.5. How is, because in the NFL, contracts aren't like the NBA. If in the NBA you sign a $3 million, 3 year, $60 million contract, you're going to get $60 million unless you do something crazy like murder somebody and they void your contract. But you're getting $60 million. In the NFL, that's not the same. You could sign a 3 year, $12 million contract, but only $4 million of it's guaranteed. Chances are you might only get $4 million of that $12 million. So with Aubrey, they're saying they're offering $7.5 million. But how is it? Like, for instance, Butker, he makes 6.4, but just last year, he got 13.8 in new fully guaranteed money. So I think in this case, it would be based off what they're offering in the other guaranteed salary, contract length, year one cash flows. That is what's holding Aubrey back from signing.
Yeah, I don't get too deep into the weeds with this because we could talk for hours about that. But
yeah,
it really breaks. It comes down to how teams want to utilize the cap and how they can. But Bucker's with it's an average, right? We talk about how it's an average. We don't talk. They average his bonus and all the guarantees into his salary. So when he makes $40 million over 10 years, whatever, then he averages that. When he's really not getting paid that, he's getting paid a whole shitload, and then later on he's not getting paid so much.
Yeah,
and this
is a perfect, gets a lot.
That's a perfect transition to actually talk about the new contract that we just saw recently. I think we just saw the details of it today. We did re-sign Javonte Williams just a few days ago, and the contract right away, everybody was saying, "Well, that's really good," because it really was. I mean, we're going to pay him. I mean, all we knew right away was he signed a 3-year, $24 million contract, which we say, wow, $8 million a year is a lot. I mean, that's good. But when we break it down, we really get to see how things work, because the way it's broken down is he got $6 million in bonus, and then his base this year is only $1.75 million guaranteed. Then next year he gets 6.25, and then the final year he gets $7 million a year. But he did get $16 million guaranteed with $6 million up front. So he did get a total of $24 million. It's just he's getting it front loaded so that we can help with the cap, and he only goes 1.7 million against it. That's how things are working. So agents push back too. They want a whole lot of money right away. Hell yeah! If your work offered you to give you 4 years of salary up front so that you could just put it in your bank and you could do whatever you want with it, I think I would take it, because then I could invest that money. I could do
because you're still getting paid. And you're still getting paid money next year. It's not like you don't get paid for 4 years. You're still getting paid next year.
Yeah, a little bit.
Most of it's in the beginning.
You just be smart with your money. I mean, you don't want to give a dumb 18-year-old kid something like that, because you're going to look at, he's going to have 7 cars, and then he's going to be asking for money next year because he just blew it. But
and I hope it doesn't happen, but say he falls, like he has one good year next year, then he falls off the second year. If after next year, and then it goes into that next year, if they decide to cut him, then it doesn't hurt as much in the salary cap. And they never did pay him $24 million. They only paid him close to the $16 million.
Yeah, and he has voidable years. These contracts work. It's just
and so that's why you got to think about it.
So you think about it, if you really think about it, when you average it, he's not getting paid. He didn't count $8 million towards the cap this year. He only counted 3.9 because of that and the roster bonuses, where that just saved us $5 million and just pushed it down the road. We Cowboys do that a little bit. The Eagles live on that.
Yeah, we do it, but not to the extent the Eagles do it.
Yeah,
we only do it for more players who we really believe will be around. But the Eagles do it for like almost everybody. Like, you want 1 year, you go void years. You get void years. You get void years.
And that's going to come back to bite him in the ass with like Jalen Carter right now, because he's still on a rookie contract.
Next year is really gonna hurt him. But
really bad.
But you know me, last year almost every game after we lose, I'd be like, you know what, cut everybody, build around Aubrey. So they should give Aubrey whatever he wants. So that's how I feel about
it. That's the consensus when we're talking about it with our buddies in there, is that, I mean,
they're wasting his prime window.
But Troy hit it right. He hit a home run with his comment on it. He said, I mean, we all agree that Aubrey deserves that contract. He does.
He does.
But we also all agree that there has to be a limit that a team can do that, because we might have to walk away if he's demanding that. I mean, the Troy and Jay Scruggs in our Discord actually made, shout out to both of those guys, made some really good points where they were saying, sometimes having Aubrey, it kind of handcuffed our offense a little bit.
It did. Oh, that used to make me so mad.
Because they said, when it's 4th and 2.5 or 4th and 3, then they say, you know what? Let's not be aggressive. Let's just go ahead and kick this field goal right now because
he can make this 57-yarder. Yeah,
where teams will actually push forward and then move forward, and then when that adds up throughout the season, we always talked about it with Aubrey ball, right? We talked about it every single time that there was like 2 or 3 minutes left in the half. We'd say, you know what? All we needed to do is get to the 50. If that's the 50, mindset,
get to the 50.
If that's your mindset for an offense, I mean that's just like your kids having a goal of, you know what? I'm just going to get through halfway of college, and then I'm just going to wing it from there. You're like, no, you got to go through the whole thing. So I don't know what we should do. I wouldn't be heartbroken if we had to walk away from him, knowing that there are other kickers out there. We might not be able to hit a 72-yard field goal, but the simple fact is we can't afford $10 million a year for a kicker. We just can't.
Yeah, we can. We need to look under the seat cushions.
But we can't do it in the car. We can, but we can't do it and I wrote this out too. I said, right now the Cowboys have almost the top paying quarterback, right?
About to be 2 wide receivers.
Going to have top receiver and like the 10th top paid receiver. We can't have the top paid kicker. We're going to have the top paid lineman soon when we have to pay Tyler. I mean, it's going to
Smith.
And then just imagine that. We can't have, out of the 5 categories, the top 3 salaries in every single one of them and still be able to pay everybody else. It just doesn't work.
We can have it all. We can have it all.
If we have a $400 million cap in a couple of years, then yeah, we can. But right now, it just doesn't. It doesn't math. The math doesn't math.
Like I said, but like we were saying, not that much news. That's all that was going on.
The only thing that I wanted to talk about with Cowboys wise too is maybe 2 things before we go. I want to pose the question and have our listeners kind of give us their ideas of what should we do with the tight end position. Because I mean, right now, but you had told me before when we were talking about this, how many tight ends do we have on the roster that actually can play? We have 2 that can
3.
actually play, and if you count Span Ford, then it's 3.
Yeah.
But Dak is a quarterback that needs a tight end. He loves having tight end.
He loves the seam. So
I mean, even if it's just a route specific just over the middle of the field, we got to get Dak somebody. So, should we maybe look for a trade for Schoonmaker? Are we going to cut him? They were even talking about moving Spanford to tackle. I mean, he's a 6'7", 260-pound tight end. I mean, he's only a few pounds off of being a tackle. So, I mean, can we really put all of our eggs in saying that, yes, that guy's going to be, as good as, the tight ends that we're seeing in the NFL right now? There's no freaking way. So do we maybe look in the draft? Do we put a little money?
I say free agency.
Maybe
I say free agency.
Like Njoku or somebody that is could become available.
He's my number 1, Njoku.
Yeah.
I like Noah Fant as well.
The last thing that I wanted to just mention was there was a mention of what possible cuts, big name cuts that we would have on our team on the Cowboys.
Give me one player before we roll out.
Steele. We got Steele, Hooker, Donovan Wilson, and Sam Williams. So if those guys get cut, we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah. I think the number 1 is Steele. Number 2 is Sam Williams. Number 3, I think, is a surprise. Kevontae Turpin.
Yeah, we talked about that before. I would seriously consider that because, I mean, he's cost a lot of money where you can actually put somebody like a rookie or somebody in there.
I think what's his name took it. The guy from last year, the big receiver we had. I think we can slide him in there. Get rid of Tolbert, Flournoy and Mingo can take Turpin and Tolbert's spot.
We just have to find a
and I'll be okay with that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind putting. I would say, you know what, Blue, if you want to be on this team, I want you to show me that you can return a kick and a punt. I think that he has the skills to be able to do that. And if we're not going to roll him out in the backfield, I think that would be a good spot to try him out. That's just my.
The only thing, the one player I would love for us to get is from the Seahawks, Rashid Shaheed, but it's going to be too much. After winning the Super Bowl, he's probably going to be like anywhere from 12 to 15 million a year. That's way too expensive.
But you know what?
Shaheed
came from. He was either a draft pick or an undefeated or undrafted free agent as well. So I mean, those guys are out there. We just need to find them.
Yep. Let's find them.
Yes, sir.
So once we find some, after some combine news and we'll have Aubrey signed by next week. So we'll be announcing what the contract is on our next show. I feel it in my loins. But yeah. So I think that's it. That's all we got. We somehow stretched out a slow news day. Still made a good show.
Yeah, we did.
So now you know about the combine. You know about who's going to get cut, and we'll be all right. So say goodbye to the people.
Oh man, Matt, I'm gonna miss you for another 6 days. Make sure that you get in there and throw some comments in there. We got some good interaction on YouTube. We want to learn a little bit more about the people that are listening to us and talk to us about what you guys want to hear, what you guys think about what we've talked about. Give us some ideas, counter, argue with us. Give us and tell us what you guys want. So I'm looking forward to seeing that in YouTube and all the other platforms that we communicate with you guys on.
That'll work. So y'all take it easy. Be cool.
Yeah.
Have fun with the family. Hydrate. Take your vitamins. Stretch.
Watch the combine.
Yeah.
Learn a little bit. Tell us what you think.
Right. Until then, we'll see you next time.
Mm-hmm.